Okay, we are all set here. Welcome back to Chasm, friends, everybody, episode 21. And I am joined by the amazing Greek god himself, Theo from Rekindled Reader.
How's it going, Chaz? Hey,
it,
everybody.
it's going good.
It's funny because I have a Greek hoodie on, of course, today, right? Of all
Oh
days. Yeah,
yeah,
that's funny.
perfect.
Yeah. Is
Um,
it is it morning over there for you? It's 11 a.m. for me.
it's not. It's
Okay.
noon for me.
Okay.
So
Well, good, almost good afternoon-ish. So, yeah.
yeah, thanks. I think it's morning for you still, right?
Yeah, 11 a.m. So I just made a cup
Yeah,
of coffee in my Power Rangers mug. So I'm
yeah.
ready. I'm ready to roll. Yeah.
Cool.
Hmm.
Oh, we got Medic 981 here
Hey,
and
medic.
Josh
What's up, man?
Millar.
What's
So
up,
we got
Josh?
got some people in the house already, and that's good.
Cool.
Um, as you guys all know, you probably follow Theo. If you don't, you got to make sure and check out his channel and subscribe. He's got tons of rockin' content. Um, I'm just really excited to have him on today. He did mention he's got possibly a cord for the computer that might die and stuff.
Yeah, I have some tech difficulties. So if the camera pops off or whatever, hang out with Chaz for a few minutes, give me a little bit of time to pop back on. But I'm trying not to touch too much. I think it's a cable that's a little bit fried. So I'm gonna have to try and figure that out. But of course, it's on days where I try and go live with a friend of mine, right?
Of
Of course.
course.
But anyway,
Murphy's Law, right?
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
so how are you, Chaz?
I am doing good, man. How are
Cool.
you?
Really good. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited. I'm excited because I'm actually going to record a couple of videos after this. So I have books piled up over here. I got books piled up over there. So it's going to be kind of a filming day today. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got to do some filming. I usually film at night. Um,
Okay. I was going to ask you what your schedule is and because you put out a lot of good content and you seem to have a
okay.
pretty good structure. So I'm curious what your schedule is like. I'm trying to figure out what works best for me and when I should try and fit all this stuff in. So when do you
Yeah.
usually film and how do you schedule that kind of stuff?
Well, my filming is usually kind of whenever I get a chance to be
Okay.
honest.
Right.
But I normally always film at night,
Hmm.
and I usually try to film at least two videos so that I
Okay.
have a little bit of a backlog. Um,
Yeah. I try and
and
do that, and I find sometimes I can't. Sometimes one video takes everything out of me,
oh
and I
yeah,
just can't. And sometimes I can do two or three, but it's very rare. It's very rare. So usually it's a one shot. What I like to do is I like to edit right away. So my favorite part of the process is editing, believe it
okay,
or not.
yeah,
And a lot of people hate it. I love the recording. I love talking about the books, but I love editing because that's a craft that I'm trying to get better at. And I'm not doing crazy edits in my videos, but just playing with the software and stuff like that is kind of fun. So I find that I like to record, and then I end up wanting to go edit right away instead of being efficient with my time and recording while I have everything top of mind. But sometimes there are issues with the video, and I'm like, oh, I have to remember to edit that this way, and I'll forget if
Mhm.
I do it 3 days later. So I just go right to
Sure.
editing. So I really should record back to back a little bit more, but I'm not perfect. So, you know,
Not a
that's,
problem, man. It happens. I
yeah.
uh I I like to edit too, but I usually so like I'll usually try and film uh cut a couple of videos ahead at
Hmm.
least, and then I usually try to edit on the weekends.
Right.
So I do everything on my phone currently. I film on my phone and edit
Right
on
on.
my phone. And I used to just store the video
Hmm.
on my phone and then upload it to my editing software later because the editing software will house it there so that it doesn't get deleted.
Right. Yeah.
But
Good idea.
recently I've started putting it into my editing software right away because I accidentally deleted a video a couple of weeks ago.
From your phone?
Yeah, from my
Oh
phone.
no,
So I'm
that's
like,
the
oh,
worst.
it
That's the
is.
worst. The
It
worst is when you record a whole video and you realize your audio wasn't working or you didn't hit record or you missed a whole set. Like that's the worst. So
I've
yeah,
been
I
there.
can only imagine deleting one by accident.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would suck.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild. But sometimes I'm like you, and I only feel like filming one,
Yeah. Yeah.
and but I always try to keep pretty consistent with release days. I always release on Tuesday and Friday.
Yeah, I'm trying to stick with like Sundays and Wednesdays. The odd time I'll throw another one out. Maybe if I miss a Sunday and I know I don't have, a Wednesday video kind of prepped, I'll just release it the Monday morning instead. But yeah, I try and be consistent that way. I can do better, I think. But I've actually been questioned on that too because for me, it's kind of like, well, people just want to see what they see whenever it comes out, and I'm grateful for that. But actually, people are like, oh, are we getting a video? Like, we didn't get one on Wednesday, or we didn't get one on Sunday. So I realize people actually stick to a schedule, and people actually, a lot of people appreciate being able to look forward to something. And I do too with the channels that I watch that are
Oh
consistent
yeah,
that way too. So I get it actually does matter. And people, not, they don't plan their day around it, obviously. But for example, on Friday mornings or whatever, or sometimes Saturday mornings, I'll wake up, have a coffee, and Mike's posted a weekly update and stuff like that, and I can look forward to certain things. So, yeah,
yeah,
that does matter for sure. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing from what I understand is it's not so much about which day you pick to upload, it's more about the consistency of every week. Some people know, okay, I'm getting a video from Theo today or
right, right.
whatever. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, totally. Yeah. It puts a lot of pressure on you though as a content creator, right? Like to
it
come up with
does.
videos for people and try and yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
interesting being on this
it
side of it
yeah, it
after
does
so
become a
long.
job in some respects. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You feel like you do owe people that, right? Because you build this community and you really want to stay part of it. But it's good. It's good. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey there,
Hey
Anonymous.
guys.
Chadi is here. Hello,
Hello.
hello. Nikki as well.
Hi,
Hey
Nikki.
there. I think one thing that throws a wrench into it too is I do an early release for my patrons.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to make sure, like on Fridays, I'll release it on Thursday for my patrons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to make sure I have it ready to go, and that's always fun.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. I've been debating on doing sort of early releases for patrons and stuff, but that you're right. Like I'm just getting used to kind of a consistent schedule and to sort of backdate another day or two for patrons would be a little bit challenging, but I think that would be kind of cool to give
Hmm.
them sort of another reason, some sort of benefit, right? And get them
Right.
access early. What I actually am going to start doing is more, I think, patron specific stuff. And I'm not going to be putting proper videos behind a paywall of like patron or whatever, but it's going to be little thoughts, little snippets, little partial vlogs or whatever as I'm reading stuff. Just little like conversational thoughts, almost as if I was chatting with my patrons, which is a benefit I think that some of them
Oh
enjoy.
yeah.
So that's another thing I'm thinking to add. I'm always trying to figure out ways to kind of connect a little bit more that way, even off the YouTube videos a little bit. The Discord's been amazing, obviously, but yeah, I think that would be kind of cool too. So
Yeah, definitely. That is a cool idea.
yeah,
I've been thinking of in fact I'm probably going to run a patron poll here pretty soon and ask for
cool.
some feedback. What would you guys like to see that would make me more worth your money?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's probably my number one thing. I think my number one thing that's on my mind is like I didn't I did a Patreon just because I
Right.
thought that eventually that might be a thing, and we had a group Discord that was growing and had a couple people say like, oh, where can I send you a book and stuff, and so I thought I would just set up a Patreon just kind of like as a placeholder for eventually like being worth one.
Right.
And I got so
Yeah.
much support right away that I was quite shocked. And so now my number one concern is like, how can I give these people more value, right? Because it's like, why? Like, I'm not. I'm not worth like that, So I'm trying to like think in my head like what I could possibly do. So that's always a good thing to think about, how to give back more, right? For sure.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah.
Alyssa's here. Hello,
Hi.
hello. Oh, thanks, Chadia. That means a
That's
lot.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to know, and I'm sure most people feel that way. It's probably
Mm-hmm.
more of a perception thing on our end, right? We
Mm-hmm.
feel like we kind of, as a content creator, I think we kind of feel like we owe them.
Totally. Yeah. So
more than most of
I
that.
like to do giveaway. Like I don't like to hoard that. And my commitment and my promise right away was like, oh, that money is going to go back to you guys some way. So I did a giveaway.
Yeah,
I send patrons books sometimes. I'll be sending little things out and stuff too for birthdays or for this and that. So I like to kind of do that and try and give that back in a kind of a roundabout way without them really
that's
knowing. Yeah.
really cool. I
Yeah. Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It shouldn't stay here, that's for sure. So
right.
I would do
Yeah,
this for free.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Um, so you just hit 1,000 subscribers.
I
Congratulations, by
did.
the way.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a trip. That's weird. And I was always sort of bugging my wife. Like I'm always like, "Oh, look, I got, 200 subscribers, right?" Because she's making fun of me like, who the hell is watching your videos?" And I was joking and I'm like, "When are you going to be proud of me? Like when are you going to think that I've made it?" And she's like, "If you hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll take you seriously." And so I did, and she was like, "Wow, okay, well that's interesting." So yeah, so I was super excited about that. I'm so grateful. I mean, I would continue to do this with like zero because it's fun. But
Absolutely.
I'm grateful that people derive any sort of value from any of like what I've done. So that's really cool. Makes me feel good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and with once you officially get into the YouTube Partner Program, I
Hmm.
think you have access to channel memberships. Do you think you'll do that over Patreon, or do you think you'll keep it on Patreon?
That's a good question. So first, thank you for the congrats, and I know you're creeping up too, so I can't wait because you're right around the corner and you're hovering right there. But
Getting there, yeah.
yeah, I've heard a little bit about the membership thing. I'm curious about how much money because thank you when patrons sign up for stuff they want the creator to get the bulk of the money, right? Like
Right.
they don't want YouTube taking a huge cut and things like that. I would assume
Yeah.
because then it just goes into an abyss, right? And I feel like the membership might take more of a cut, even though it would be more efficient maybe to have everything on one platform. I feel like maybe it's not as worthwhile in the end for the creator. Like I like to when we go on group chats and things like that when possible, I like to do a super chat or a super comment and give a couple bucks to the creator who's taking the time to put together this chat or whatever. And I've heard that they don't get a whole lot of that. And so
Mhm.
I've been directed, they're like, well, instead of just giving me a couple bucks on YouTube when we do a live stream, just join the patron for a month or something like that, or something different. So, yeah, I wonder how that works. I've thought about it, and I think once more people do it and I get some more info about that, I'll think about it. But doing stuff like that and getting money for the whole thing is not really top of mind. What I really wanted to do was contribute to the discussion, put out some videos, my thoughts for myself to look back on that, and then
Yeah.
build a bit of a community because people have built these great little niche communities, not niche, but like their own little units. And we all sort of connect together through that. And so I kind of wanted to build my own. And with the boys over at the Grimoire, we were able to sort of do that a little bit. And I'm very proud of that. So that's the number one thing. So the membership and community through YouTube is sort of
Yeah.
secondary, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's really good. Yeah. The Grimoire is a really yeah, you guys have really built that up good.
Oh, thanks, Chaz. Yeah, we were talking the other day, and it seems like it's become sort of a confluence of other discords, of other channels, regardless of how big, how small, kind of
Hmm.
what genres or whatever. Everyone kind of comes through the grimoire at some point, and that's
Yeah.
kind of fun to see. So whether you're there a little bit or a lot doesn't really matter. We're always happy to have people, but it turns out to be a bit of a like an intersection for a lot of other smaller and larger channels. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm bad about Discord. I do I mean I post my content and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and I lurk a lot. I'm bad about lurking, and
Yeah.
I'll comment on occasion, but
Yeah.
I guess you could say I'm social media averse.
It's hard not to be these days, Chaz. I mean, come on, it's kind of a crazy. It's there's so much. I mean, I just people were making fun a little bit because it's an odd time to join Twitter,
Right?
but I
Yeah, I
joined
saw that.
Twitter like literally weeks ago, and the reason why I did is because there's some people that are just incredible, like Josh from Red Fury Books, who I've been following since early days of his channel, huge fan.
Yeah.
he shouted me out a couple times, I think, on Twitter. And this most recent time, I sort of noticed a bit of an uptick on subscribers, and I was like, in the grimoire to the boys, I'm like, oh hey, like I'm getting a few subs, like I'm gonna reach 1,000, I think. Like what the hell's going on? And Alex said, oh, I just saw Josh, shouted you out on Twitter, by the way. Like that's pretty cool. And I thought, holy shit, there's no way for me to know that. So I
Right.
went on Twitter because of Josh just to thank him and be part of that. And his post even said, Theo's not on Twitter, but he has a great channel. You should check him out. So I was really appreciative for that. And so I jumped on Twitter just to be part of that and shout other people out too and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you gained a lot of following. I mean, not just booktubers, but a lot of booktubers as well. Cersei's,
Yeah, thank you
what a
so
great
much.
channel you have and amazing content. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hi,
Yeah, you too.
Promina. How are
Back at
you?
you. Hi, guys.
Yeah, Nikki, of course.
That
Yeah,
is true.
like the Patreon allows for more types of content to be shared rather. Yeah, that is good. I like that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't
Hi,
stay just.
Penny.
Hey, good to
How's it
see you,
going?
Penny. Glad you came for just a second anyway.
Yeah, yeah, 30%. And so,
Oh wow. Yeah.
really to facilitate that option, that's not a whole lot. Like, if you take 30%, whatever. But,
Hmm.
if you give someone $10 or something and they take $3 of it, like, it could be better, I think. So I wonder about the YouTube cut sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Versus Patreon and other stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Certainly.
platforms, a lot of
Yeah,
things to
a
stay in
lot of
touch with.
platforms.
Um,
Yeah, but it was funny. I paved the way for you to get on Twitter. I left and you got on.
yeah, right. Yeah, and I can't fault you for that. It's an odd place. There's a lot going on right now. No one really knows how it's going to end up. I was reading some posts from authors and stuff, and they were saying, this is one of the main ways that authors and publishers and stuff really kind of connect, and it's a huge part of their business and communities and all that.
Hmm.
And I wonder how that's going to work. Obviously, there's going to be other things, and there's other. I think now's the time where other substitutes are starting to come into play. But yeah, without Twitter, there's going to be a few pockets of creators and artists and things. I think that'll get quite a bit, impacted. So that's
Hmm.
pretty sad. But yeah,
Yeah, it is. It seems like it's kind of going the pay to play route, and
right.
I don't know if that how that's going to work. I had noticed a post from Neil Gaiman shortly before I got off, and
Mm,
he was talking about how things are going to change for creators and stuff.
right.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a lot.
It is a little shocking, yeah. When you see it, you're like, "Oh, interesting." And I've been told it was a chunk, and I wasn't really sure how much, but yeah. So I like, for example, I would instead of doing, even those, I'd much rather just send somebody a book once in a while or whatever. So whatever
Yeah,
you want to do to support people is cool, and know that we never expect anything. We just want to talk
yeah,
to each other for free
exactly.
and whatever. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And
yeah,
yeah, Prominence on BookTube as a commenter in three discords.
totally.
It can be overwhelming. Yeah, we're glad you're there though. I always enjoy my interactions with her.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Happy
so
Thanksgiving, by the way, that just passed for you guys
yeah,
over
happy
there. Yeah.
Thanksgiving. How was yours?
Yeah, so I'm in Canada, so we had ours earlier, and I can't actually remember.
Oh,
I think
that's
it was
right.
the 16th, or it was a couple weeks before, but it
Hmm.
was good. Yeah, we had a good time. Do you guys go all out with family and turkey and all the whole thing for Thanksgiving, or how do you guys do it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I got invited over to my. Well, I keep wanting to say mother-in-law. She's my former mother-in-law now,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we're still really close. She's always been like
of
a mom
course.
to me, and I'm friendly with my ex-wife. So
Good, good,
we all got together at her house, and I made the turkey, mashed potatoes, and deviled eggs,
nice.
and
Deviled
then
eggs are awesome. I love
oh,
eggs.
they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love deviled eggs. I can't get enough of them.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, and then we had a whole feast. Yeah, uh, we had cranberry sauce, we had stuffing, we had green
I
bean
love it.
casserole.
I love it.
Yeah, the
I
whole.
never really know which way we're gonna go because sometimes we go kind of Greek and we do a little bit of that kind of stuff, and then
Yeah.
sometimes we go very traditional and do the whole, the whole thing, the whole spread. So, and it depends where we go. Sometimes I go to my wife's family, sometimes we go to mine, and it sort of depends. But
Yeah.
if I can go sit somewhere and have good conversation and eat a bunch of food and not really feel guilty about it, win-win. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Same here. It doesn't really matter what kind of food you're having as long as it's good conversation and
yeah,
good food. It's yeah, and I wouldn't be opposed to having Greek food on Thanksgiving either.
yeah. Right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Why not? Yeah.
yeah, especially having a little baklava for dessert.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. Yeah, yeah. I'm hungry
that
already. I haven't eaten yet, so I'm hungry already talking about it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Thanksgiving's a good time.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fellow Canadian Josh. Yeah, what's up, man?
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of content creators in
There
Canada.
are. And so I'll give you, hey, how about I do this? I'll give you and your subscribers and everybody that's watching kind of a, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'll give you guys a sneak peek or a little bit of a you know, advance update on what we're doing. So there's actually going to be
Ooh.
very quick. And actually, it's a video that I'm going to film part of it today because there's a second part which is unique to my side of the video. But we're doing the traveling book box, but Canadian edition.
Oh yeah,
So I have the
man.
box over to my left over here, and that came from Drew's book reviews. He's on the island in Victoria. And
Yeah.
so
Uh-huh.
that got shipped to me, and I'm in a unique position where the next booktuber is actually about half an hour away from me. So I'm not going to ship it. I'm actually going to vlog and drive it over and hand it
Ooh,
off to this person and do a little bit of a collab, and we'll see what we can pull off. But that'll be really fun. I'm
that
excited to
is.
open it on camera after you and I chat. I have some books behind me that actually to my left here that I want to maybe pass along and
Hmm.
see what's in there for me to take. That'll be really fun. I'm very excited. So that's coming pretty soon. I would say probably within a couple weeks, people will probably have filmed their part, but it's going coast to coast. So it's going from the island on the west coast, from Victoria, through to me in Vancouver. Well, there's two of us in Vancouver, and then it's going up through kind of the middle provinces, through Ontario, and then over to the east coast to like Nova Scotia and like Prince Edward Island and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then I think it'll make its way back to the originator probably for kind of a wrap up, but that'll be fun. I'm excited. Yeah, I've
That.
always seen those, and I've always been very, very yeah. I've always been very jealous of those, and it's a little bit tricky in Canada. Shipping is very expensive, and shipping within Canada is kind of embarrassing. Like it's ridiculous how expensive it is. Same with travel, by the way, but that's a whole different
Oh
conversation.
yeah.
But you can send someone a book in the States, from what I understand, for not very much money. Like you can send parcels, here. If I want to send one book to the United States, even within Canada, like I said, it's expensive. But if I want to send a book to someone, a friend, which I've done in the States, one book, a normal, let's say, paperback, it would be probably between $20 and $30. And it's like it's pretty cost prohibitive if I can buy something from, let's say, Amazon and have it shipped to them.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there are so many books that I want to give away, so many books that I want to share or whatever, or I have a duplicate. Somebody needs to read this. I would send so many books around if it was just less expensive, but it's very expensive. Even within Canada, it's still like $20 to send up. Yeah, it's crazy.
Man, that's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, it's unfortunate for sure. So, but I'm excited. The book boxes are going to be fun. I can't wait to
Yeah,
be part
that's
of this one.
cool.
Yeah, I've always been so jealous seeing those around. Like, oh, it looks like so much fun. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You guys are all doing that.
Yeah.
That's
So there's going
amazing.
to be a lot of Canadian booktubers to go back to that you're going to recognize and see that's going to be part of this whole thing. So yeah,
Cool. I'm excited to see it. That's really
yeah,
awesome.
totally.
Yeah. I know shipping like so I tried so Drew, speaking of Drew's book reviews,
Yeah,
he won a giveaway on my
right.
channel.
Nice.
And I tried to order it from Amazon for him and everything like that, and something got we still don't know what happened. So I ended up
Wow.
having to send him an Amazon gift card instead because the book I ordered for him
Like
for whatever
disappeared.
reason it was acting weird. So
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, there are some, for example, like on other discords, other communities. I have a couple group of really good friends in different communities and stuff, and I want to be part of like the Secret Santas and stuff they do, and things like that. But it can be very cost prohibitive,
Hmm.
and the amount of stuff I want to send people as presents, like sometimes I just do it, but man, I wish it was cheaper,
Right.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
yeah,
Greek food is the best. I have to agree.
100%.
Yeah.
It's one of the best. I like, we're very in Canada, but also on the West Coast in Vancouver, in this huge like metro city. We're very multicultural. I mean, there's everything everywhere, and so I eat, different food all the time: sushi, Indian food, Chinese
Oh, I
food,
love
Thai
sushi.
food, Greek food, Italian food, everything. So we're very lucky over here. So Greek
Yeah,
food is the best, but man, I bounce around the globe sometimes. Every week there's everything. So
yeah.
I think I just love food. I think
Oh,
that's my
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I love food
Me
too.
and food have a complicated relationship.
Yeah,
So yeah, but anyway,
yeah. Yeah, there's a really great little Mediterranean place called Saba's here, not too far
mm,
from me. It's a family-owned business, and man, that's some I continually go back there. It's some of the best Greek food I've had
that's
anywhere.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
good.
and I get to support a local entrepreneur, and so
Yeah,
local family.
we
So
try and do that. Like we always try and rationalize and say like, okay, well, it's too expensive because I love to cook and I think I'm okay at it too.
yeah,
Luckily, um, usually I'm home first as well, so I usually cook dinner and stuff for the wife when she comes home from the clinic. She's a vet
yeah,
tech, and so I end up cooking a lot. But we always try and say, well, we should order in less, but then we like supporting all these small restaurants, and if we don't, they're going to disappear, and then we won't be able to go for sushi on whatever. And
right,
so it's a hard balance to strike, I think. But we're young. I'm a professional, like we both are really, and we make okay money. We don't have kids. And so like now's the time to really do that because we might not be able to as much down the road. So I
yeah.
think when you can, it's good to support. But I like cooking, so I like to order, get ingredients and stuff and cook food and do it that way too. So, but it is a tough balance to strike. How often do you eat out? Like, what do you, you know?
We try to eat out once or twice a month at most.
Okay, that's a pretty good system. Yeah, that's probably the most prudent way to do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
then you can splurge, and then you can tip, and then you can order
exactly.
dessert and drinks and whatever. I totally get it. Yeah,
Yeah, I love to cook, and I do cook a lot at home. So the
yeah,
majority of and I usually cook for 2 nights. So
yes,
we'll have leftovers one night, and
yeah, yeah.
um, food is so expensive right now as it is. So it's
It's crazy, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost hyperinflationary in different pockets. I mean, you can see the price from one month to another. You're like, holy shit! Like it's it's completely different.
hmm,
It's just the environment we're living in right now. I work in finance, and so I'm very tightly tuned to rates and inflation and different markets and stuff. And so it's a bit unfortunate, but it's what we're doing. So yeah, what can you
yeah.
do? But yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll take a downturn in that respect, because
Yeah, I
yeah,
hope it
they
normalizes a bit.
I've heard I don't keep up with it too heavily, but I've read some articles where analysts are saying that people who used to be your middle class because of inflation
It's
are now
eroding.
going to be your poor people.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of how high
And
everything
that's,
is.
yeah, and that's kind of when they say like, oh, the middle class is disappearing. That's kind of the way it's happening, right? It's like the
Hmm.
people that are in the middle class are very easily pushed to the bottom because a lot of them aren't as middle class as we think. I mean, middle class can be quite a wide range, I think, of people and lifestyles.
Hmm.
So you have a lot of people that are going to end up struggling. People that were in the middle class will end up struggling more. And people that are ultra rich are just kind of doing their thing and keeping their money. So that
Yeah,
middle class is eroding for sure, which is unfortunate, definitely. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
definitely is. Elaine's mom is in Ontario. Wow,
yeah,
that's
that's
insane.
exactly right. Yeah, it's very expensive to send something. Yeah, just even
Hmm.
over the border or whatever. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Josh is on the East Coast, Canada.
Yeah, and
Nice.
it depends how rural you are too, right? Like I'm in a huge city and it's still kind of expensive, but the farther away you get onto the coasts and stuff or on islands, like it's crazy. Like I even watch like Patrick's videos and stuff, and like getting stuff to him is probably ultra expensive, and he's got to
Oh
wait months
man.
to get books, I think, right? Because he's in Indonesia, I think, right? Is
Yeah,
he
he's
not?
in Indonesia.
So
Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy. It must be tough.
yeah,
But it's also fun when you get a package and you wait for 2 months for something, and then it's like Christmas every day. So yeah.
yeah.
How's your reading going, Chaz, on the topic of books? Like, how's it going so far? We're almost at the end of the year.
Yeah,
How did it
it's
go?
going okay.
Yeah.
I already hit my Goodreads goal for the year, which was 60
Good.
books.
Awesome. I'm a little short. I don't know if I'm going to hit it this year, but you know what? I do what I can, and that's about it.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah, just enjoy reading the books, and if you hit it, you hit it. If you don't, you don't, right?
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I had several books planned for this month, and I think I'm going to end up being one or two books shy.
Hmm.
But it's been an okay reading month. But toward the end of the month, it got crazy with the holidays and everything.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, I'm reading First King of Shannara and Mask of Mirrors.
I've been hearing a lot about Mask of Mirrors, and I think Jolene just posted a video that I was trying to watch just before I popped on here, and I think it's becoming one of her favorite series. I think she mentioned. I believe that's the one she was one of the ones she was talking about. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about, and you know what's funny? I've heard you talk about the Shannara books here and there. I was a huge Shannara fan, and I read, like, I guess it was the first trilogy
Uh-huh.
and then one or two books thereafter. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
I really loved them, and I think part of the reason why is because I've never read Lord of the Rings, which I want to read
Um,
soon, and I
yeah.
was hoping to read it by the end of the year, but I think I'm going to read it with a couple people come the new year, which will be really fun. People that haven't read it yet, like I think Jordan from Jordan Reads hasn't read it,
Yeah.
Tori hasn't read it, so that'll be fun. But I love Shannara because I had nothing to compare it to, I think, and so
Right.
yeah. So you've read
Yeah.
obviously Lord of the Rings, clearly,
Yeah. I
right?
have.
And so you still like Shannara for what it did.
I
You
do.
weren't jaded by the comparisons and all that kind of stuff. You liked that story for what it tried to do.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it was really only the first book that was super derivative.
right. I think I heard that. Yeah,
Elfstones of Shannara comes into its own
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Uh, Even though the first trilogy does have, as a whole, does have derivative elements,
Right.
but
It's hard not to if you're in that really deep in that genre, right? But
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's not a bad derivative, though a lot of people criticize it for that, and
hmm
I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, even well, I haven't read the whole series of Wheel of Time, obviously, but even Eye of the World is
yeah,
derivative from
yeah.
Tolkien.
Yeah,
It's hard
yeah,
to
yeah,
escape
for
that with
sure.
the
And
other
then they
stuff.
kind of do their own thing. I was
Hmm.
watching one of your videos literally, I think it was yesterday. I think I was rewatching it or it was a recent one you posted, so forgive me, I can't remember. But it was series that no, it was the one that you said I'm DNFing this popular series
Oh
and I
yeah, yep,
rewatched that one and it
yep.
was The Wheel of Time. And I
Hmm.
wanted to hear your because I've never read The Wheel of Time. I read Eye of the World many years ago, like I was a teenager
Hmm.
and I never continued with it. And I tried to read it again, and I didn't get very far because I didn't have the time. But yeah, I was curious about kind of your reasons. It was very well articulated. I think you give a lot of reasons why, and I think I would probably tend to agree with you there. Like if I were to read them, I think I would probably see things the same way. But yeah, very interesting. It's another one that I should probably get under my belt. I see other people here haven't read Lord of the Rings too. I have this
Oh
beautiful
yeah.
not collect I guess it's a collector's edition, it's just an ultimate edition or whatever that is, has the maps and the drawings and stuff from Tolkien. Yeah, I wonder if you have the same one I do, but
Yeah, I probably have it too. I think a lot of us picked up this really nice with the red
yeah, it's
striped
beautiful, isn't
edges.
it? Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
so cool. I'm gonna read
yeah,
right from there. Do you read from special editions, Chaz? Do you keep them on the shelf and then read your ebooks? I know you read a lot of ebooks. Do you like
yeah.
to
I
read
do
from
read a
the
lot of
special editions?
ebooks. Some of my special editions I do read. Um, Although I've lately I've tended to make a decision that I'm going to buy buy the ebook and read the ebook because I mean
Right.
these are so pretty. I hate to.
I know, I know, I know. But I
And
like, for example, I have Way of Kings up here, and
oh
it's the
yeah,
signed leather bounds, and it was one of the things I splurged on because I'm like, oh, I'm going to read Stormlight. I quite like Sanderson. I've read a couple other of his books. I've obviously read Mistborn,
yeah.
and I'm like, I think I'm going to really like those, and so I went and bought that one. I haven't read it yet. I think I'm going to read it closer to the end of next year, start it, so that
Hmm.
I'm not too far in advance of when he releases the next one. But I think I'm going to read right out of there because the pages are beautiful. We're all nerds here. That you guys know what I'm talking about. The smell of
Oh
the new
yeah,
book, those thick pages, the illustrations are beautiful. Why have that on the shelf if you're not good? So what I've done before is I would read on an old, maybe Daily Driver, mass market paperback if I have it, or an
hmm,
ebook, and then I would just go and flip through to see the pictures and kind of go through and not necessarily wear and tear as I read. But why
yeah,
else do we have them, right? I think I'm going to start reading from the special editions because why the
yeah.
hell not? Like I read that nice edition
Exactly.
of Dune. I read right from that one
I
with the
did too.
sprayed edges. Like why the hell not? So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then speaking of Dune, we've got Dune Messiah and Children of Dune
I
coming out next
pre-ordered
year.
those. I
I did
actually
too.
pre-ordered those because they're very pretty and they're going to match that. I gotta get new shelf. Whatever. I'm running out of room. I'm running out of room, Chaz. But it's a good problem to have, I
Oh
guess.
yeah, it is definitely.
Yeah.
In fact, I read Dune Messiah for the first time this month.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never
What
read Dune Messiah.
What did you think? That
I
was the second
loved
one,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tried to read it the first time after the first time that I read Dune.
Okay.
I tried to pick up Dune Messiah right after it, and that was years ago,
Okay.
and it just didn't click with me.
Okay.
But I wanted to continue reading it again, and so I picked it up and reread it, and oh man, absolutely loved it. It's very different.
I've heard that it kind of starts to go completely different
Mhm,
from the main Dune book, but I've
mhm.
also heard that Dune Messiah and forgive me, the third one is Children of Dune.
Yeah,
I
mhm.
believe those two are sort of can be read kind of together, or at least should
It
be
can
read
be.
very close together because they're not completely separate. Like they're really kind of one arc or story.
They are.
So are you
Yeah.
going to continue with the third one then, like real quick, or are you just going to kind of wait?
I'm probably going to read it in January.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I definitely want to finish. I'm going to do my best to finish the entire six original books of Dune next year.
Okay. Are those all Frank Herbert?
Those are all Frank Herbert. Yep.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, he wrote the original six before he died, and then
okay.
Brian
And
Herbert
then
picked
some
up
other guy
after that.
continued. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, which I've heard mixed reactions to it.
same, same. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if I'll continue with those, but yeah, Dune Messiah, uh, whereas Dune was very, it's definitely kind of a bleak world, but it's very
Yes.
optimistic in terms of the outlook for the future, and we've got this upcoming Messiah, and
Hmm.
things are looking good. And then um, Dune Messiah just totally flips that on its head, and I won't say any more,
Really? Okay.
but you'll definitely um, yeah, you definitely see that you see the downsides of
Right.
power very clearly. Yeah,
Yeah, and a lot of that was probably foreshadowed in the first book too, a
I
little
think it
bit.
was. Yeah.
Like you really start to see like, ooh, like can this actually work, or is this actually how is this going to turn out? I'm keen to hear your thoughts about that one because Dune is a book that I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would. I
Hmm.
don't have a lot of experience reading older books, and the writing can be different and dense
Hmm.
and whatever. And I'm also not a huge sci-fi guy, so I call myself kind of an SFF, science fiction fantasy reader.
Hmm.
But really, fantasy is my bread and butter, and sci-fi is kind of ancillary. Like good sci-fi books, I'll tend to grab. And I've been very impressed with certain books, like Rockio's series is
Hmm.
amazing, and there's certain books I quite like. But Dune I liked way more than I thought I would. I just wanted to consume it just to have that under my belt and read this, classic, like in the sci-fi genre. And I really like I liked it. I can understand the criticisms of it. Totally get it when
Oh
people
yeah.
say certain things. But I'm like, I really like I thought that was fun and I want to continue with it. Maybe fun is not the right word, but I enjoyed that more and I appreciated it more than I did. And I do want to continue. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it's a great series. A lot of people criticize Paul Atreides for being a very wooden character,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
my answer to that is, well, he's basically a mentat. I mean, he was
Like
trained
trained
in,
that way. Yeah.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
trained as a mentat, and he was also trained in the Bene Gesserit ways as well. So it's like,
He's not really a colorful human character. Like
yeah,
he's yeah, he has a lot of other influence from different
yeah.
types of
Mentats
people.
don't have a lot of personality, so it's like,
No. Yeah.
but I get where that's not for everybody though.
It's
So
not going to be for everyone. And
yeah,
to be honest, Chaz, I'm a little worried about Lord of the Rings because I've read The Hobbit when I was
yeah.
younger, and Hobbit was great. But I mean, The Hobbit was also just The Hobbit,
Hmm.
and sort of take it for what it is. But The Lord of the Rings, man, it was it's fantasy, it's Tolkien, it's a
Yeah.
classic. It was written a long time ago. Like I don't know, is that going to land for me? I don't know. Hopefully, I enjoy it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's very enjoyable. They so Andy Serkis just narrated.
I want to listen to. Now, what do you suggest? So, can I ask you?
Yeah,
I'm going to read these for the first time.
yeah,
Do you suggest I read them, or do you suggest I listen to these amazing narrations from Andy Serkis, or do what I typically do because I'm an idiot and I buy everything all the time? Is I have all of them. So, do I listen to some and then read when I'm not listening and kind of sitting down? Like, do I do a combination of both?
yeah. I
That might be best.
that might work better for you if maybe start out with the book, and then if you're
Yeah,
not feeling it, switch to the audiobook, or
I
you
think
could do
that
it
might work.
immersively.
Yeah, I did that with the a trilogy that I think both of us really enjoyed. I believe you finished it. Is the Warlord Chronicles, and I
Hmm.
did that with the narration as well because there were so
Yes.
many names, so many places, so many weird spellings that seeing them on page just for a bit until I got the hang of kind of what I was looking at, and then
Yeah.
starting the narration was amazing. And yeah, people say immersive reading is great. One of the so I was going to do a video on this, but I haven't yet, and that's kind of why I chose to have a Kobo, and I have a Kobo and not a Kindle, even though I'm called
Okay.
Rekindled Reader. It was more like rekindled joy of reading and not really
Sure.
Kindle associated. But I have a Kobo for a couple reasons, and I was going to do a video on that. But one thing that the Kindle can do is that immersive reading, and I really part of me just wants the Kindle just for that, almost, to be honest with you, because I think that would be one of the best ways to read for me, knowing myself. I can read quickly and I can listen quickly, but separately, I tend to do them a little slower.
Yeah.
But I think together, I'd be able to kind of just breeze through books, and that would be and retain more probably because people I know that have done it love it the way that works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I've been
yeah,
doing, at least lately, I've been doing all the Dresden books immersively.
Dresden is one of the few that I've done only audio. Like I've read a
Hmm.
couple of chapters here and there from an ebook because I
Sure.
do have those, but I just get the audio and I just listen full on audio.
Yeah.
But those are some that you could immersively read so fast, and I think it would
Oh,
help because
yeah.
there ends up being so many characters and so many names and so many whatever that I think that would work very well too. You're right, that would be a good one to immersively read. I think, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So what do you, what she wants to know, what do we both think of Earthsea? Have you read Earthsea?
I haven't read. It's Ursula K. Le Guin, right?
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
haven't read her yet, and I wonder where to start. Now, I was at a used bookstore the other day, and I saw the entire Earthsea collection,
Yes.
and
I
I
have that
almost
one.
that nice big omnibus, and I almost
Yeah.
bought it. And honestly, I might go back this like today or tomorrow to see if it's still
Yes.
there.
Do it.
But I've heard really good things. Would you recommend it? I think let's defer to your thoughts, and then maybe you can try and sell me on it because I'd love to
I've
try it.
only read The Wizard of Earthsea, and that was a long time ago.
Okay.
I liked it though. I liked it a lot. It's the books are short too,
Hmm.
which is nice. I think Wizard of Earthsea is like 200. 80 pages or something like that.
That's a book in the Earthsea series, which
It
is
is.
in that omnibus, right? So how many
Yes.
books is in that omnibus that I'm talking
I
about?
think there are 7 or
Oh,
8
wow.
because she's got a bunch of short stories that go with it too, and those are in there as well.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, those are. But yeah, Wizard of Earthsea, and then I don't remember the names of the other books, but Wizard of Earthsea is definitely the place to start. And that book has them all in chronological. Well, it has them all in chronological order. So
Cool. Okay. Okay.
I'm planning to reread it starting in. I'm going to reread Wizard of Earthsea and then continue the series next year. So
Cool. Yeah. I have a couple read-alongs that for series that I'm very excited about for next year, and I don't know to what extent I can fit in something like that, but I'd love to sample her writing and maybe just try the first book and kind of see if that works, because that type of fantasy is something that I've strayed away from a little bit, and I kind of want to get
mhm.
back to that, a little more traditional fantasy, some dragons and stuff like that, and like that
Yeah,
would be kind of cool. So I think I would welcome that type of fantasy again. I just don't
yeah,
know kind of when to fit it in. Next year is going to be the year of A Song of Ice and Fire for the first time, reading it with
yeah,
tons of people starting January, and I really want to continue and make a bigger dent in Robin Hobb. So I want to start
yeah.
with Live Ship. That's the next one, the next
I'm starting
trilogy.
live shipping. Yeah, next year.
Yeah, and then I want to run through a couple of those, like get through Tawny Man and maybe the Rain Wilds and stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, I also want to do the Jade Legacy or
Oh,
Jade City
so
Greenbone
good.
Saga series as well. Get
Hmm.
that kind of out of the way, and I think I'm going to really mesh with that one. And there's a couple smaller like trilogies and stuff that I want to fit in as well. So I got to continue with Dresden. That's a huge priority of mine. I've kind of left that a little bit. It's like comfort food. You can just kind of go back
It
to it, but
is.
because of that, you end up leaving it sometimes. So I really want to get back to that. So yeah, Ursula K. Le Guin. I want to get back to those. Or not get back to those. I want to try those for sure. But I just don't know when.
She was very progressive at a time where it wasn't really
Hmm.
heavily accepted.
Okay.
She writes strong female characters. She was one of the first authors to have a main character protagonist who is
Hmm.
black. Uh,
Really? Okay.
yeah,
Interesting. Wow.
the main character in Wizard of Earthsea is Ged, and he's black. And
So it's funny that you say that because I'm going to be putting out a video, I think sooner than later, probably about my 2023 like reading and life, but also reading goals.
hmm
And one of the goals is to continue trying to be a little bit more diverse in my
hmm
reading, not just genres, but also
hmm
authors and it's funny because like I just read the fifth season by N.K. Jemisin, which was great, and I can't stop thinking about it. And I have the second one up there because I kind of just want to dive right into it.
so much
But
of it's burned in my mind, and I
it's
read it months ago. Yeah.
totally right. Like I can't stop thinking about it, and I rated it a 4, and I'm going to do a dedicated review on this because there are a few things that took away from it a little bit. From like I had a couple issues with it, but on the whole, I thought it was excellent. But when you mentioned that, I want to have diversity not just in the authors that I'm reading, but also in the characters and like in the
hmm
books that I'm reading,
hmm
and expose, go out of my comfort zone and read just different settings, right? Nautical
hmm
settings, or have LGBTQ representation in my books a little bit and have people of color as different characters. Like I just want to be a little more diverse in my reading, and I think that's
Sure.
probably there's worse goals to have probably. So
Absolutely.
so that's
Yeah.
cool to hear about those books. Yeah.
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 Yeah. She was very outspoken in that regard. Especially in her younger years, in a time when it just wasn't uh, really popular or acceptable. So
Right. Wow.
yeah,
Very
but
cool.
yeah, Earthsea, I would think is, of course, I haven't read the other books, but I want to. So
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go there too, and a lot
Cool.
of people talking about Shannara here.
Yeah.
Um, although that's not a good example of, uh, you know, uh, uh, progression and diversity
Yeah.
necessarily. I haven't read the newer books in the series, so maybe he's gone that direction. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shannara is really massive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Alyssa loves Lord of the Rings. I've only read it once, but I'm due for a reread. Yeah, same with Medic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so many good books out there. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Okay, Mercy reads for special edition.
Right. That's they sit there doing their thing, looking so pretty for you, and you just don't even touch them. You just don't even look at them. I mean, you look at them, but you don't even read them. Like just
Right.
pick them up. Just pick them up. Yeah.
Oh, Parameter should have DNF Dune. I'm sorry.
It doesn't work for everybody. I mean, we both agreed on that. It really doesn't work for everybody. Hey, Andrew, what's up, man?
Tori's here
Hey,
too.
Tori, how's it going? I was talking about you earlier. You can rewind
Yeah,
later and talk. Yeah.
immersive is the way to go. Okay,
Yeah.
we got somebody for immersive.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Tolkien names, I would
yeah,
agree. So I think I'm gonna do a little bit of both and really understand these crazy places and names and stuff. And once those are ingrained, I can probably lean a little more towards the Andy Circus because I've sampled them and they're so good. I mean,
yeah,
he's just exceptional. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. Tolkien was very heavily steeped in linguistics, or
yeah.
in ancient languages, and so yeah, there's some names and stuff in there that'll throw you at
There's a
first.
lot there, yeah. And Tori, I was mentioning, I don't think you've read Lord of the Rings either. And so we were talking about, I'm going to read this for the first time, probably next year. I think Jordan's going to hop on, and I think Tori, we were talking about that. So yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Malazan's definitely the priority. I get it. Malazan, yeah. But eventually, we should try and get to Lord of the Rings. That would be. I mean, we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Nikki never finished the book, the Lord of the Rings, after watching the movies. The extended cuts are amazing movies. They really are.
So I'm in sort of another unique position because a lot of people that haven't read the books at least have seen the movies, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like I remember watching. I think what's the first one? Fellowship.
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
remember watching that one, or at least most of it, and I never really continued. So I'm not jaded one way or another. Like I'm going to read the books and enjoy them, listen to the audio, do whatever, and then I'm going to watch the movies like full through and get my experience that way, and we'll see.
yeah.
But yeah,
Now that's cool. That's a great way to do it.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, the audios make it easier in some respects, for sure.
Yeah,
Immersive with Stephen King. Yeah, though that's one, like especially the bigger ones. I did only audio on it, and I'm probably going to do that on the stand as well, just because.
yeah. I've read, I have it staring me in the face on the shelf. I'm halfway through, and I was committed to a couple books this month, so I wasn't able to like continue. But I mean, it is I've really enjoyed it so much, and so I really want to get back to it. And I did the audio. I did both. I did the
Uh-huh.
audio, and then I would sit down and read because it's so big. And the audio is great. The audio for a lot of the Stephen King books are actually pretty well done, except the
Yeah,
ones that I think he narrates, but those are very, very few, I think.
yeah.
So
I think it's very few the ones he does, for
yeah,
sure. Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. Okay.
I've seen that. I've seen the cover of that. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't really
Yeah,
know
I
much
haven't read
about
that
that
one
one.
either, but I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on it. You're right.
Hmm.
Yeah, just read the chapter of Baron and Luthien. Oh yeah, Baron and Luthien's that's a sobber for sure. Yeah. So Andrew's here. Yeah,
Yeah,
two
what's up?
great bearded men. Haha. Yeah.
That is true.
I got so much flack when because I had that long beard, for a while, and I got so much flack when I trimmed it off.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I haven't. You probably experiment with shaving and growing the beard and shaving it. If you
yeah.
can believe it, I haven't taken a razor to this beard. I mean, I haven't shaved it completely off since I was probably like 18.
Oh wow,
It's
yeah.
been. I mean, I haven't seen my face in you know like yeah almost 20 years really. So yeah, it's funny. I'm just it's like like an emergency blanket or like a security blanket right now. It's just
Right.
part of my face, and I'm worried what I look like now. So I grow
Yeah.
it out and I trim it, but you know, it's never gonna go
And it's
away.
good for saving leftovers too. I mean,
Every now and then, just a little crumb of a cookie or something. Yeah, it's perfect. Late night snack. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean for sure. Definitely.
Right, boo. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. What's Andrew reading? Yeah, he said he was taking a break from his current read.
Yeah.
I actually had Assassin's Quest going this month, and I don't think I'm going to
Hmm.
make it through it this. I'm going to probably have to carry that over to December.
So I'm wondering what I should do. So what I'm reading right now is and I just posted on my Instagram. I'm reading the third Lycanius book, the final in the trilogy, and I'm loving that trilogy. I mean, the first one I gave it 5 stars. I was super impressed with it, what it was trying to do. I had a couple issues with it, but overall it was very impressive. Second
Yeah.
one was like a setup, and I had more issues than I did with the first one, but I could
Yeah.
tell where it was going, and I was very excited. The third one so far is a trip, like it's a ride for sure, and he does a very good job of giving you a nice refresh before you go into the next book, and so
Hmm.
that helps a lot. So I'm enjoying it, but it's huge, Chaz. Like it's like I don't know, 800 something pages.
Oh,
But I'm
wow.
also reading. I'm also reading my very first David Gemmell book, The Lion of
Yeah.
Macedon, with Alan. Now Alan has finished it. He didn't love it very much, but that's because he's a history buff, and so I think there were a couple of choices that he didn't agree with. But as a fictional sort of book, I think it'll probably land more with me. But
Hmm.
that one's shorter, and I just don't. I just want to continue with Lycanius, but the only book I could probably finish within the month is Lion of Macedon, given my time availability for the next week or so. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Do I continue with both and get like halfway done through both, or do I just wrap one up? Like, what do I do? I don't know what to do.
Oh yeah,
So
it's a tough decision. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap up a couple by the end of the month and just try and call it good.
yeah, like if I really try, I mean, I might be able to finish Lion of Macedon and then make a huge dent in Lycanius and feel good about that. But I'm ending up just bouncing between the two more than I would like. So I think I'm going to try and just pick one and see how that goes. But
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. Andrew's
Yeah,
Andrew's upset with me because I was supposed to read it with him. We were trying. Alan sort of bullied me into reading this with him because he got left out of a buddy read or somebody whatever, and there were people reading it, and he wanted to jump in, and he's like, I have no one to read it with, and he's like, you have to read it with me, so I did, because we always talk kind of historical fiction. I'm getting more into it, and of course he's very well versed in that genre, and so Andrew's like, what the hell, man? Like I thought we were I thought we were gonna read it.
right.
Sorry, dude, I fucked up. Yeah, my bad. So yeah, yeah,
Let's see. Tori had a comment here
yeah,
earlier. Yeah, we were only saying good things.
yeah. Tori's amazing. Yeah,
She
yeah.
is.
Started
She's
watching a
really
lot of her stuff.
awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, she's gonna read Lord of the Rings first time next year. Cool. Yeah, Malazan's a big undertaking. So yeah, I get that.
yeah. I was gonna jump in on that, but I'm still intimidated, and I think I'm gonna prioritize some other series
Hmm.
and just see because there's that read along blew up, and I'm really happy. Like that's gonna be really fun to watch. I think I'm gonna participate more in the realm of the elderlings and try and catch up. Mike is doing a huge kind of read through with a ton of channels and stuff, so that'll be
Right.
fun. Malazan, I'm going to see how people react to that, like people that I'm close to, people whose tastes align with mine, see how that
Hmm.
works. And I might give it a shot at some point. I've promised a few people I would at least try. And so we'll see. And Steven Erickson's Canadian, and like I should read it, right?
Right.
But I'm worried, man. I don't know.
I enjoyed Gardens of the Moon.
Yeah.
I I I had a really rough time reading Dead House Gates, but I finished it and I enjoyed the ending.
Hmm.
I got halfway through Memories of Ice and uh, it just wasn't the right
Just
timing for
lost the
me,
spark. Yeah.
so I shelved it. I didn't DNF that one. I just shelved it for now.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, they're good, but um, you have to be in a right frame of mind to read them. I guess if that makes sense.
It does. It
So,
does. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. Those would be hard if that's the case, because I am very much a mood reader, and you're right. There are series where the next installment, like I kind of got to be in the right headspace. So if that's the
mhm.
case, I would find it hard to commit and maintain a schedule with a read along. That's what worries me. It's not really
Yeah.
the content. It's like when I'm going to get to it and how I'm feeling at that moment. So it might be where I'd read one or two in a month and then not read anything for a couple and then feel like I want to get back to it. So I don't know if I can just stay with the schedule like people would expect me to. So I don't know. But
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to do one book a month or one book over 2 months, and
mhm,
it was a
mhm,
big undertaking, so I
it
stopped for
was
a
saying.
while.
Now, are they like I know they kind of get bigger and bigger. Are they big books?
Hmm.
Like, do they get chunky? Shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're chunkers. Some of them are over 1,000 pages.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they're chunkers for sure.
So they can take up, and I'm in a position now where I wish I could read a million books a month like Andrew does, but I
Hmm.
can't because I'm not a robot. Um, so yeah, I have to kind of pick and choose. And so if there's a book that's 1,000 pages, that'll take up a chunk of my month, right? So that's another consideration is when in the year can I commit to like just those books if I had to. I want to
Right.
start the year reading a bunch of everything, and so I don't know if I can jump in on that one, but
Yeah,
I'll read
I've
it
got
eventually, and I'm keen to hear what people's thoughts are. Very keen.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff to read next year. I recently filmed my video. It's going to be releasing on Tuesday. I've still
Yeah.
got to edit it for
Yeah.
my 2023 plans.
Cool.
Oh man, yeah,
A lot,
it's
hey.
going to be a
So what's
challenge.
your not to give anything away too much in the video, but like what's your number one thing that you want to get to in 2023? Like what are you most looking forward to in terms of books for next year?
Yeah, well, believe it or not, I'm
Okay.
most looking forward to uh, catching myself catching myself up to be current with Dresden. So
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm gonna finish Dresden up to current, and then I'm also looking forward to Live Ship Traders, of course.
Cool.
Um, yeah, I've got so many goals.
You
I'm
got a
gonna
lot.
be reading Earthsea. I want to
Cool.
finish Dune, or at least the first six
Those
books
books.
there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Good plans
yeah.
so far. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Live ship is one that I'm very excited about. And I'm getting a lot of FOMO about that. People are like, you got like, what are you doing? Like, stop reading your books and just
Right.
read these ones. So I really want to get to those. I have the beautiful kind of UK. I think that those might be it. Yeah, those UK ones. So they're
Hmm.
really nice, and I look at them all the time. And so yeah, I wanna jump on those. But
Yeah.
yeah, did you like Farseer? Like, did you have you said you were talking about Assassin's Quest earlier? Have you
Yeah,
finished it?
yeah. I'm in the middle of
Almost.
Assassin's Quest, but I don't think I'm gonna finish it by the end of the month.
Okay.
I love it though. I it's easily becoming one of my favorite series. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I will
I have
say
an
that Royal
unpopular
Assassin
opinion.
blew me away.
But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, I have an unpopular opinion, I think, about that one, where I think I don't know if it's my favorite, but I sure liked it a lot more than other people did. And I
Hmm.
think what I lean to on that opinion is I read that one like months after I finished Royal Assassin. So I had a
Hmm.
long time in between. I had the patience to get back into such a long book.
Hmm.
One that arguably meandered a little bit, and it
Hmm.
could have been a little bit tighter, but I enjoyed it. If I had read that back to back right after Royal Assassin, which was epic but also long, I may have just been dragging my feet a little bit more on that. But because I waited months, I was keen to like finish up the story, and it was a pretty epic ending. I'm knowing you and your channel. I'm excited to see you wrap that one up and end Assassin's Quest. I want you to reach out to me and tell me what you thought.
Oh, I sure will.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I think you're gonna like it.
So far, I'm really liking Assassin's
Cool.
Quest. It does meander some, but
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
It's still
And it,
fun. I still like the characters, and I'm not
oh
like, oh, I
yeah,
don't want to follow this person or don't want to follow that person. There was a couple choices that she made where I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm reading this.
right.
But overall, it wasn't. It didn't take me too far out of the story for too long. Like we ended up coming back pretty quick, so I liked it a lot more than people did. I think, on the whole. But
That's cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. And Andrew's dissing my boy Tom Bombadil here in the comments. I don't
Everybody
know,
talks about
Andrew.
Tom Bombadil, and I just want to read these damn books so I can know what the hell people are talking about. Like, is he
Right.
this little like crackhead that just like sings songs all the time? Like,
Uh,
what is
Pretty
Bombadil's
much, but
problem? Okay,
it's I don't know. He's just really endearing for me.
okay,
yeah,
But does he
I
feel out
love
of place?
Tom.
Like, why do people not like him? Or is it those people that like to skim the poems and the songs that maybe don't appreciate him on the page as much? Like
Yeah.
what is it that people don't love about Tom Bombadil?
Yeah, I don't know. I think part of it is because he's such a sing-song character. He is very, there's a lot of singing and
There's
stuff
just a
like
lot,
that.
yeah.
And I just had fun with it. I was sitting there making up the music in my head, singing along with him. And so,
That's funny.
you
Yeah,
yeah. So
cool.
I guess everybody's different, but
Is
I
he in
enjoy
all of
Tom
them?
Bombadil.
Is he in all of the Lord of the Rings books, or is he just
He's
in one
only
or
in
two?
Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah.
Oh, and then he got dropped. He got
And yeah,
cut.
yeah. So he never showed back up. At least I don't. There may have been a brief mention of him in one of the other books, like toward the end, but I don't. Yeah, I don't think he was in it again.
Hmm.
And there is a short story that Tolkien wrote. I think it's in his Unfinished Tales or something like that, called the Adventures of Tom Bombadil.
Right. Okay.
That's completely separate, but I haven't read it yet, but I
Interesting.
want to.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be curious if I had read a little bit about him in one of
Yeah,
these books. I'd be curious what else there is with him. So unless you hate him, if you hate him, I wouldn't go chasing those. But yeah, that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Yeah. I love Tom Bombadil. He's one of my favorite. I was really bummed. It made sense why they didn't put him in the movies, but
Hmm.
I was really bummed that they didn't.
You know, I think. I mean, again, I haven't read them, and I don't even really know what we're talking about. But I've heard a little bit about it, and I wonder if maybe a little cameo or something would have been like probably fun for a lot of people, like just some
Yeah,
drunk guy like singing a song by a
yeah.
tavern or something. Like I don't know, that might have been
At
cool.
least a deleted scene or something, you know.
Right. I think a lot of people would appreciate that, but I think a lot of people would probably agree that he didn't really have a place in the story of like the movies, right?
Yeah.
So because they only had so much time to do that. So
I think what he reminded me of, and maybe this is part of it, maybe it's sentimentality, because when I was a kid growing up, I grew up in a small town, so I had to ride the bus to high school every day. This
mhm.
a long bus ride, like 45 minutes, and so I'd have to get up at like 5 a.m. in the morning to catch the bus,
Yeah.
and oftentimes, waking up that early would just make me sick. So there was this little old Swedish couple that lived in my hometown, and if I got on the bus and I was feeling sick, I would always stop off at their house to call my dad,
Right.
and the man, Tom Bombadil just reminded me so much of that man. He was
Wow.
just always like quirky and very sing-songy as well. And he'd let me in his house, and he'd be sitting there playing solitaire on the kitchen table at 5 a.m. in the morning. Just this really neat guy, and I think Tom Bombadil reminded me a lot of him.
That's very
So
interesting. It's always
yeah,
weird to hear or interesting to hear people's like behind the scenes kind of stories about like how things resonate because you never know why a certain story or a certain character resonates or
mhm,
touches somebody the way that it does.
yeah,
And even oftentimes the reader doesn't really catch that until maybe they look at that in hindsight, maybe. But that's pretty interesting. That's cool. I've never
yeah,
had an experience like that where a character like reminded me of someone really from my past or somebody that I really cared for or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat. So I wonder if he would take that as a compliment or not. If he knew the character, I'd be curious. But yeah,
Right, yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, he and his wife are have passed on now, but
yeah. Did you
yeah,
stay in touch with them at all? Did you ever like?
I didn't
No, right?
in fact it was kind of weird because they knew my family and my but they were never like close friends or anything, and
Right.
this couple just kind of kept to themselves in their house, and um
Yeah.
I never really knew them that well,
Hmm.
which I guess is kind of weird. But I was always kind of one of those weird kids. Like I would walk up to strangers in the grocery store. I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" So
I did that as a kid too. I always laugh because you see those kids on like leashes, like the backpacks with the leash and
yeah,
stuff. And like I
yep,
was on that. My parents would like reel me in because I would just go wander, talk to people, and they'd be like reeling me in with my backpack. Like you
yeah.
can't just go talk to people.
I was invented before child leashes were.
Yeah, yeah. I bet you'd be on one too, for sure. But
I
now I laugh when
probably
I
would
see a
be.
kid running around and he just bungees back with the little leash. I'm like, that was me. So yeah,
No, that's great.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Hey Nathan,
Ooh,
Nathan's here too. Hey, what's up?
was going to listen to my audiobook, but since y'all are live, I listened to this for a bit.
Cool,
Hey,
welcome.
glad you guys are here. That's cool.
Pretty
Doing
good.
well, thank you.
Could be worse.
Right?
What are you up
Absolutely.
to for the rest of the day, Chaz? Like, what does your day look like today?
Oh, well, I'll be going grocery shopping after this. And my daughter works at the grocery store, so I'm just gonna
Oh,
do
you
the
get to see
grocery
her too.
shopping and then pick her up from work.
Awesome. Cool.
And then my a good friend of mine has a 50th birthday party tonight, so we're gonna go to
Nice.
that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
Last night I went over to, we did a very adult thing. We went to a couple friends' house. It's a couple that are friends of ours. A couple friend? How do I say that? They're a couple and they're friends of ours.
yeah.
And we went over there and we had fondue. And so we had like cheese fondue for like kind of dinner and snacks, whatever. And then we had a
Hmm.
wonderful like chocolate fondue. And I never felt so posh in my life. It's pretty good. Not gonna
Hmm.
lie. I mean, I ate way too much, as is the story of my life, but whatever. So that was really fun. But
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna film videos after this. I think I told you I'm gonna do some grocery shopping and stuff. My wife just got home. She's running a half marathon tomorrow, and
Oh,
so she
nice.
ran out to go pick up her race pack or her run like packet with all her stuff and stuff. So I'm gonna go take photos and support her tomorrow. So that'll be fun.
That's
So
cool.
today I get to read and relax and film, and then tomorrow will be kind of busy. So yeah, that'll be cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to film tonight too. I've got a few unboxings that I'm gonna be doing. So like a bunch of
Oh,
stuff that I
cool.
ordered
Yeah.
is gonna be coming out here pretty soon. So I just recently got one in the mail, and then I've got one arriving on Tuesday. The
Cool.
one on Tuesday is a really, really sweet, expensive special edition of one of my favorite books. So I'm gonna
Wow.
be so I've got a couple of unboxing videos I'm gonna do, and I haven't really done unboxing videos before other than the one traveling book box I was in a while back.
Right.
And so this will be interesting to see. I really want to show off the book, like flip through the pages and stuff, but I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to get one of those arms for my smartphone so I can like film it,
Top down. Yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
played with that a little bit. I haven't done an unboxing yet, but I would like to because I think they're really fun to watch and they're a little tricky to film. And I
Yeah.
played with it where I have like a tripod and set up in a certain way where like you can't quite see the legs, and I don't really have the best desk setup. Like my desk is really because I work from home a few days a week and I work in
Yeah.
finance and stuff. So I got a couple monitors and I got a bunch of stuff going on. And my desk isn't really conducive to film, and that's where my computer would be when I'm recording as
Hmm.
well. So it's not conducive to a nice, clean, top-down aesthetic that people would be used to. So I haven't
Hmm.
yet, but I want to, and I can probably film on the back there with a bit of a top-down, whatever. But I'd
Hmm.
like to. So I'm going to film probably the book box one as well. I have a huge book haul to film. I've been accumulating for the last couple of months, so that's going to be my last huge end of the year book haul. So I'll record probably one or two of those,
Hmm.
and I want to do some unboxings down the road. That would be really fun, I think for sure. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
nervous because I'm not. I don't think I'd be good at them, but I'll try at some point.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering that about mine too. Do you film all your videos with a camera, or do you use your webcam, or?
I do. So I film all my videos with the camera that I originally bought for photography. I got into like street photography and I did some paid portrait stuff and whatever too.
Nice.
I like to take photos of cars and my buddies' cars and stuff like that. So I bought a decent camera for that and some decent
Mhm.
lenses. And I had this equipment, so I thought, oh, like I could make a YouTube video and it might look good too because I have this camera. Like, let me try and get more used to this camera. And that's kind of where it started. And so I film everything on this Sony mirrorless camera that I have that I'm trying to use as a webcam right now, but my cables and stuff don't work very well. But it seems to have worked okay today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of it. That's how, I mean, if I had to, I'd use my phone as well. So what I would probably do is maybe film this way and then have my phone as maybe the top down because it doesn't need
Yeah.
to have any depth of field. It doesn't need to be a good, like it just needs to be a like a camera, right? So
Right.
I might do that, but yeah, I'm surprised
Yeah.
you do everything on your phone, because everything looks so good, everything sounds really good, and the
Thank
editing
you.
is pretty good too. I mean, you're more articulate than I am, so you don't have as many takes as I do, or as many cuts. But that's also the style of video that I make is a little bit quick and choppy too. I kind of like those videos. But you're
Yeah.
able to just you have a nice calm vibe about your videos, and you do a great job with just a phone, and I'm quite impressed with that. I didn't know that.
Well, thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
yeah,
You'd be surprised at how many cuts I have.
yeah,
I've,
we all have we all have
I've
them
got
for sure.
I've got a bunch of cuts, but I really
Yeah,
appreciate that. Thank
yeah,
you. I have a shotgun mic that I plug into my phone that helps with the
cool.
audio too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Good. That's
um,
awesome. What kind of phone do you have, by the
I
way?
have
Do
an
you have?
iPhone 12 Pro.
Cool, cool,
Yeah,
nice. I
yeah.
have an older. I don't have the Pro, but I have an iPhone 12 as my work phone. So
Uh-huh.
my work. So I have an Android for my own phone, and I have an iPhone for my work phone. And the iPhone will tell you it's the cam. Like I have a Google 6 Plus or a Google 6 Pro,
Uh-huh.
and it's a Pixel, Google Pixel 6 Pro,
Yeah.
and the camera is incredible. And on paper, the specs are better than a new iPhone, even though it's an older Android.
Okay.
But when you look at them sometimes, I mean, the iPhones are so good and the video is exceptional and the
Yeah.
audio too. So yeah, so it
Yeah,
doesn't surprise
I
me.
got the Pro specifically because I had upgraded from an iPhone 8 Plus
Hmm.
to the iPhone 12 Pro because I wanted a better camera for filming my videos and everything like that.
Yeah,
So that's why I got the Pro.
yeah,
But I am considering upgrading to a camera,
yeah,
just to be able to do a little bit more with it and also maybe market my skills on the side to do some video editing
totally.
and filming for freelance work. But I've
Yeah,
got to learn a camera before I can do that. So trying to
yeah, yeah.
upgrade my skill set a little bit.
That's kind of part of the reason why I started this too. Is like I said, I sort of alluded to it, but just to kind of learn how YouTube works and how to edit and how to use assets in like a video in a way that makes sense, and how to like film stuff, and how audio works, you know what I mean? Because there's so many things that go into it, and people just watch a video and they're like, oh, okay, cool, or like, oh, that was fun, but like the audio sucked. It's like there's so many problems that can happen, and it's so hard to get right and dialed in that when you do, it's like a huge win, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. YouTube's a lot harder than I thought it would be, Chaz, to be honest with you. It's a
it
lot more
is.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely have a
but it's
learning
fun.
curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what led to you picking up the camera one day? And because you said you were kind of a lurker, I assume in the community and stuff,
Hmm.
and you've probably been following big channels for a while. Like, what led to you picking up the camera and going, like, I can make a video? Or people probably want to hear what I have to say. Let me do this.
Yeah, I just got the itch one day. I wanted to be part of the conversation
Yeah,
and
same.
have people to talk about things with and share my viewpoints. And
Hmm.
so that was really all it was. I just wanted to engage in the
Yeah.
conversation.
So what was your first video? What was your first video ever?
Yeah, my first video was a book review for Ocean at the End of the Lane.
It was your favorite
Yeah,
book.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. My favorite book of all time. I just
yeah.
decided to make a video about it, and
Cool.
that was what kicked it all off.
That's
And I
awesome.
started out only doing one video a week for the longest time.
It it's hard to do more than that, and I guess it depends on how much time a video takes and how much effort and kind of what you do with your videos. Some people
Right.
do crazy things in their videos, and I just could never figure that out. Some people just sit down and talk for a while, and they can probably pump out a few of those because they know words better than I do, so they can just speak better for longer. But yeah, they take an awful long time to do for sure. And what's funny is I always joke that if I didn't start doing booktube, I could probably read a lot more and would have a lot more
Yeah,
to talk about. But like, I also got to film stuff and plan for that. So yeah, it's one of those weird things. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It's like, well, you do booktube and you're able to participate more, but then you read less, even though you need books to talk about. So it is what it is.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. I found that book tags work in a similar way to like shorter, easier reads. So
Totally.
like
Yeah.
you've got like your Dresden books that are more of a palate cleanser, and Discworld books are good for that too.
Hmm.
Well, book tag videos are
They're
good palate
brilliant. Yeah.
cleansers
Yeah. You can
because
slot those
they're
in.
easy to film and slot those in. Yeah,
I'm behind on those, and what I don't want to do is have two, three, four, five tag videos in a row, and so I
exactly.
tend to sit on them for a bit until I kind of need one.
Hmm.
So I'm
I'm the
behind
same.
on them and have a couple good ones. Andrew's tagged me in one that was kind of a year end one, and I just did a year end one, and so I wasn't really sure if I should do that right away. But yeah, they're really good for that, and they're also really fun. One of my favorite ones that I did not that long ago was the Count with Me tag, because
Yeah.
it forced you to do those prompts of like two books, like a book that you have two copies of, or three colors on the cover and stuff like that. So that forced me to kind of go and shop my shelves a bit and pick out books and remember what I have. And that was
Oh
fun.
yeah.
It was cool. It was hard to find one with 10 books in a series that wasn't a
Yeah.
Lazen. And so I ended up picking the Chronicles of Amber, or the Books of Amber. Have you read those yet?
I haven't. No, I've heard they're really good though.
Yeah, yeah. I'd really like to try those. Apparently they're pretty cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Zelazny is a really popular author,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely want to get to those at some point as
I'd be
well.
curious. I would love to try that with you, and I'd be curious what you thought, because if you like Dresden, like this is very much fantasy, but it's like it's urban fantasy in a
Uh-huh.
way. This guy wakes up in the hospital, doesn't have any recollection, whatever. He's told that he's part of this royal family that has these powers or whatever, and he's able to
Hmm.
then travel through other parallel worlds. One of which being the Amber, and
Yeah.
then Earth is kind of this like other world that he's from, and so it's very urban fantasy, but very traditional in where the fantasy is. There's a lot of traditional elements to it, so I'm curious if you would like that. Being a huge Dresden fan and that kind of stuff, you know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah. I'd definitely
You
be
might
down
like
to
it.
read that one with you someday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're small, so like the whole thing is like I don't know 1,000 or whatever. Like it's a thick omnibus, but
Oh
there's
wow.
10 books in it.
Yeah.
So like for example, let's see. So this is it here, and this is
Yeah.
the omnibus with 10 books in it.
Yeah. Wow.
So that would, to read one of those just to get a sample might be pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been wanting to check it out, so that would be good to have someone to read it with for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I've heard good
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Jonathan's
What's
here.
up,
Hey
Jonathan?
man, how's it going? Cannot stand for Tom Bombadil slander. Thank
Yeah,
you.
some people
Yeah,
are
there you
diehard.
go.
Yeah.
We got some Tom Bombadil lovers here. There we
Yeah.
go.
I can't wait to see how I feel about this guy because I've heard so many things. It's so funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's something I think about a lot, Nikki, is like how your biases kind of change and to what extent reading one like reading one book very quickly to the other can influence what you think, or alternatively leaving one for too long,
Mhm.
do you get the same impact? Like if I read The Faithful and the Fallen, which is one of my favorite series, I really liked it and it really hit home for me when I read it, and it did everything I wanted it to when I read it. If I read one of those books every 3 or 4 months, like it wouldn't have the impact I think that I would want from it. So it's hard to know how quickly to read these series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, The Realm of the Elderlings. There's 16 books in there,
Hmm.
and some people read through that whole thing in 1 year. And I don't know, is that good? Like, is that bad? Is that too much? I don't know.
Right. Yeah,
So
I think it's probably different for everybody.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, Tom just feels like a completely different story.
I think that's the common
Mhm.
criticism. Is it just people like the story, and then you get pulled out with those bits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's partly the lyrical voice. Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah.
Your husband has good taste, Tori. Chadia loves Tom. Okay, that's good. Tolkien Reading Day 2023. My video will be on Tom.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
okay. Nice.
Curious. Yeah, very
I'll look
curious.
forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
It
yeah,
was a
my
good
childhood
story.
story. Yeah, thank you.
I like that.
Yeah, Tori was on one of those leashes.
Me and Tori, I think I'm getting to know her more and more. I think we're gonna get along very well. I think we're kindred spirits for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Totally,
I
I
love
agree.
Tori.
Same
Yeah,
here. Yeah, yeah, she's definitely one of my people.
yeah, yeah,
Love hearing about the technical side of things
yeah.
on him.
Nathan's awesome, by the way. Hi, Nathan.
He is,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, very definitely. But yeah, it's always, yeah, I feel like we're always constantly learning, uh,
Yes.
and growing. And
You know one thing, Chaz, that I'll say is because I watch different content, different videos about different things for sure. I mean, we all have different hobbies and stuff. And
yeah,
one thing I'll say is with the like book community is there's not a whole lot of, I mean, there's going to be drama here and there in little pockets, but there's
yeah,
not a whole lot of drama and there's not a whole lot of judgment. You know, if the video, if the quality sucks or if it gets blurry for a bit because you forgot a setting or if the audio didn't sound good that time or you held up the book upside down or whatever, people are
hmm,
just all about the books and all about the content and they don't really shit on you for that kind of stuff. And that's kind of cool, you know, because it
right,
can be, the internet can be a little bit of a messy place. And so people in this community in particular are very kind, very considerate. At
yeah.
least that's been my experience. I can't speak for everybody, but yeah, there's a lot less judgment I think that goes on than maybe some other YouTube arenas, right? So
Yeah, that's very true. I do see a lot of negativity in some circles, but
sure.
I haven't really seen any in BookTube. I'm sure there are.
Yeah,
Um,
it exists in little pockets, but I think
mhm,
on the whole it's a great place for sure. And we as people that make videos sometimes don't have to like be so nervous all the time. We can just put out stuff and it, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work or whatever. Sometimes we make mistakes or we'll say the wrong name or we'll say it's a 5 book series instead of a 3 book series, whatever.
right.
That stuff doesn't seem to matter a whole lot. And I'm always welcome. I'm always open to being corrected and stuff. And I think, and it's good to have that open door. But people are usually pretty like considerate with how they do
Yeah.
that. So that's pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, yeah, they are. And yeah, I'm always open to that too, and
Yeah,
trying to be better at the craft. But yeah,
yeah,
everybody's been really accepting
totally.
for
And yeah,
sure.
and so to Nathan's point, it allows us to experiment a little bit, to try and improve without the that hesitation or worry about the judgment of like, oh, he's
Hmm.
trying this new thing, like it looks like crap. Like, why are you doing that, right? So yeah, because it is a learning curve and it's quite steep.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten the hang of vlogs really. You did that one vlog back early on for your honeymoon and stuff like that when you went to
I
was it
did.
it was
We
Can
went to we
Can
went to Mexico. We went to
yeah,
Cancun. Yeah,
uh-huh,
yeah.
yeah.
And honestly, vlogging is something I want to do more of. I really like flying my drone around. I like the videography aspect of it. I take some beautiful top-down drone photos that turn out to be panoramas, and I can edit those.
Hmm.
They're quite beautiful. Vlog. So I'll be honest with you. So I've filmed like 2 or 3 vlogs since then, and I haven't posted them. One was building this bookshelf. I vlogged the whole trip to go buy the thing and building it. Like I just haven't put them out there because I'm like, well, that ended up being kind of stupid, or that, you know, no one cares about what. And I'm just trying to practice behind the scenes on how to do that
Yeah.
because there, some vlogs that I watch, like vlogs are some of my favorite types of videos, and when those merge with the book videos, I find that really fun.
Hmm.
You know, I like the shopping vlogs, the book shopping vlogs, the reading vlogs. The I'm gonna do one coming up here, I think, about unhauling some books. I did an unhaul video, and some of those books I wanted to go and donate to a couple free little libraries that are around town.
Yeah.
So I'm going
Uh-huh.
to vlog that. I'm going to vlog kind of going and, you know, going to a used bookshop, maybe another bookstore, whatever, and then also donating and popping around these little free libraries and vlogging that whole thing. So
Yeah.
you haven't seen another vlog from me, but you will probably if I can get the hang of it. So I
Hmm.
like vlogs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I would put more out if I felt like I was getting the hang of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of yours, and
Oh, thanks.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe I'll make one happen here in the future.
Totally.
I did one. There's one on my channel,
Yeah.
and it was okay, but it
And you know what's
wasn't
funny
great.
is we say that and I'm like, oh, that's not good enough, or oh, that's not as curated or quality or whatever. Or like the story goes off on a tangent and you're like, well, that vlog made no sense at the end, right? But
Hmm.
then when I sit and think about it, like I'm watching these other videos where people are just talking on their phone, they're sitting on their couch, they picked up their phone, they're just telling you their recent thoughts about a book, and that's
Yeah.
just part of their vlog, and I'm like super into it. And there was nothing to it. It was just somebody on their phone who just happened to pick it up and start talking. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I think we overthink things and we're like, well, what are people going to
Probably.
think? Right.
We're our own worst critics.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
So I am going to try and do more because I think that's a type of video that I enjoy watching a lot and I'd like to do more of them. But they are difficult and they take more time just
They
by virtue
do.
of how they work. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people are really good at them though. I'm not yet.
Yeah, I've seen some really, really good vlogs. Some
Oh
people
yeah.
do really well with them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, not only do I love your content, but I love your lighting.
Oh,
Like,
thank you. Yeah.
I know that sounds weird, but like your lighting is on point, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. That's probably the question I get the most, and I've helped a few people out with it, and I've given some links to some stuff that I use, and it's nothing. If I was on my phone right now, I'd flip around the camera and show you, but it's really nothing crazy. But it does help for sure. And it was something that I just wanted to practice with because like again I'm kind of interested in the videography kind of aspect and
Hmm.
how the lighting works with like my lens and my cameras and stuff. So yeah, I appreciate that. And actually it's funny because if you look at like even the little things, right? We're our own worst critics. So if you go back to older videos, you'll notice that I have these two they're called like practical lights, the lights that are just on in the background, right? I have these two
Yeah.
bulbs over here and they're really blown out in some older videos because they were just plugged in and turned on and they're really blown out. And I have to expose the shot for me and those are just kind of on.
Hmm.
But now I've put it on a dimmer so that they look more normal. And so I'm
Hmm.
always trying to do those little things and just practice myself. But I appreciate that. It's just one softbox light. And I just like to add color because I'm kind of a nerd and I like RGB lights and just different colors and stuff. So I like to play with those. And that ended up being my aesthetic from like day one, I guess. So I've just kept it.
Hmm.
But I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely really good. Yeah, it's just it gives a really cool, calm aesthetic to your
Thanks.
videos.
And
Yeah.
it's funny that you say that because it's kind of just the environment that I shoot in. Like it's a small room and I don't
Hmm.
have a whole lot of natural light. I have a window to my right that I close off just because of then it makes the light look better. But some
Hmm.
people, yourself included, have much more of a bright, airy, fresh, natural daylight kind of look. And I actually really like that. It's not something I can pull off easily in this room. So it's
Hmm.
funny what other people think looks good and what we all like. I love yours too, and so that it's just it depends where you film and the aesthetic that you're trying to go for. So for sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really does. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, Nikki, coffee brewing in your vlogs would make them dumb to watch. No, not at all. Yeah, people eat that stuff up.
So Nikki, it's funny. So I have footage of myself making an espresso and pouring the beans in, doing the whole thing, and like the sound of whatever. And like I just haven't put it into a video yet. And I'm like waiting because to me I like that type of stuff, right? Little quick cuts with like just making coffee and stuff, and then
Yeah.
going on to reading your book. And I just haven't put that in. So I'm all for it. I want to see you make a ton of coffees. So
Yeah.
just do it. Yeah.
That would give you a very Matt Diavella vibe, Theo. I don't know
What?
if you watch Matt Diavella, but
No, I don't.
yeah, you should check out his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of good stuff. Completely different
Cool.
niche. He talks a lot about minimalism and different things
Oh,
like
I
that.
know. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly who you're talking about now.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
he's that
he
guy.
has some
Yeah,
of those videos like brewing the coffee and pouring the beans. You could
totally.
totally get that vibe going, man.
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
Chadi read Realm of the Elderlings in 6 months. Wow, that's
That's
impressive.
impressive. That's
Yeah.
impressive. I mean, I guess if you're really into it and you prioritize it, it's possible, obviously.
Oh yeah, totally.
But I wonder, if you really enjoy it, that's probably good to run through it. If you're struggling with some of it and you force yourself to go through it, it might be too much too quickly. And that's what we were talking about before. I wonder how to judge that. I guess if you're feeling it, go for it, right? Breeze through a
Yeah,
series. But if you're not, maybe take a breather between the next book, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy how lighting makes it look much higher quality. Yeah,
It,
lighting
it,
can
it
make a
makes it
huge
different.
difference, right?
So one of the questions I get common is like, oh, what camera do you use? Or what lens do you put on, or whatever. Like it's really the light. Like it's the type of light and how bright it is and how it's diffused and whatever.
Hmm.
Like this would look similar on my phone if I were to do that. You wouldn't have the depth of field and kind of the blurry background of like the proper lens, but it's really the lighting. It's not the quality of the equipment,
Hmm.
right? So yeah, for this type
Yeah,
of look, right? Yeah,
for sure. It's such
yeah.
a
Just do
yeah,
it, man.
yeah. You should totally do it, Theo.
Just do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Matt Diavella. Yeah, he's great. Now, you don't necessarily need to drink coffee. You could get a similar effect with tea,
Totally. Yeah.
video steeping your tea or
Or even
whatever.
food, right? Like Chris over at the Fictional Escapist. I actually had him on as my first kind of chat about nothing, Fireside Friday guest. And
Hmm.
I've been following him for a while. I quite like his channel. And he does good little vlogs in between. He has a very good schedule. He puts out a ton of content. I don't actually know how he does it, but he'll throw in vlogs with like walking the dogs and then coming back and he'll talk about some books and then he'll go make lunch and he'll talk while he's cooking and or he'll film himself cooking and then he'll
Hmm.
do some other stuff or go shopping. So yeah, I just little snippets I think of someone's day would be fun for sure.
Yeah,
So I like doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I train Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and I quite enjoy
nice.
it. And I always think about maybe filming a little bit of that, just like, oh, this is what I did today. And then come back, talk about a book and like whatever. But I'm always too nervous to film too much when I'm out in public. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
also hinders me a bit. But so the guys that I'm fighting are probably going to be like, why are you, like, why am I right now? Like, what the hell? So anyway, yeah.
I'm curious on that.
Mhm.
Um, so since you do that, how is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu different from capoeira? Because I know they come from a similar,
Like in Brazil, right?
yeah, from Brazil. Yeah,
Yeah. So capoeira is really like a it's a dance martial art. It's more of a
yeah,
flair type of martial art, and so it's more of a like display or
yeah,
presentation versus an actual true martial art. So capoeira
yeah,
is beautiful and it's very dance and it's very spinning and kicks and this and that.
yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is really kind of a ground self-defense martial art. So
Okay.
if you ever see, two people squaring off and dancing and kind of boxing and circling each other trying to get, an opening,
Hmm.
capoeira would be kind of fun for that to watch.
Hmm.
Once somebody grabs somebody else and takes them to the ground or punches them and then jumps on top of them, that's
Hmm.
where jujitsu kicks in.
Okay.
How do you deal with that on the ground and not get killed? You know,
Okay.
so it's. I would urge people to just check out like a jujitsu like video on YouTube. Very
Yeah.
very cool. Because I grew up doing stand up martial arts. I've done kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing. I'm a second degree black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh
I've
wow.
done some judo. I've done whatever. Growing up, that was kind of my jam. And as an adult, I decided to do something completely out of my comfort zone, and that was like wrestling and jujitsu. Because I've never been good like on the ground.
Hmm.
I've always been good standing up, and I've always been quite fast and flexible for a big guy.
Hmm.
But jujitsu is so different and so challenging that it really rounds out what to do in an altercation. Obviously, the goal is never to get in a fight, but it
Yeah.
rounds out the story of like, okay, two people get together, they start throwing some punches, one guy gets taken to the ground. Like that, then what do you do, right?
Right.
Instead
Yeah.
of squirming around like a child. So yeah, you'd be surprised. There are some children that are amazing. There are some very light, slender women that can completely overpower huge men. It's really the technique that drives the whole thing, and it makes it brilliant. It's
Yeah.
like they call it like human chess. It's very very mental. It's very
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I've
yeah.
always kind of wondered the difference between the two because I've seen a lot of capoeira, but I've
It's
never
beautiful
I've
to
never really
watch.
seen jujitsu. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
capoeira is great to watch. I
yeah.
saw a really cheesy movie back in the day. I think it was made back in the '90s called Only
Mhm.
the Strong. I don't know if you've seen it.
I know the title, but I can't picture
Yeah,
what is
like
in that
it's a
movie.
total B movie. It's really hard to
Okay.
find,
Yeah.
but it was a fun one, and it was all based around capoeira.
Oh, that's
And
pretty cool. Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun movie. You'll be rolling your eyes the entire time, but it's just a fun martial arts movie. It's
I really like old like 80s martial arts movies. Like those are
yeah,
my jam. I love like old Van Damme movies and stuff. I could watch
oh yeah,
Bloodsport 10,000 times and be totally fine with it. So,
oh yeah,
I like those for sure. Not for everybody, but I
yeah.
enjoy them. Yeah.
Hard Target is one of my favorites of his.
I think Hard Target. Oh yes, yes. I was thinking Steven Seagal, but I no Hard Target. I think is Van
Yeah.
Damme. I think
I like
is it
some of Seagal's earlier stuff too. Some of his, I haven't seen anything since Out for Out for Justice.
right, right. I
I
think
haven't
Hard to
seen any.
Kill was one of his too.
Yeah,
So
Hard to Kill. Oh
something
yeah,
like
that
that.
was a good
Yeah.
one.
So I think that's why I got them confused. But I
Yeah,
always liked him too. But Van Damme was my guy. Yeah, growing up,
yeah. Oh
definitely.
yeah, Van Damme. Van Damme's still great. I mean, he's still
He's
cranking
cool.
out stuff. He's not. He's still doing. He's not doing any real popular movies, but he's still out there.
He's still
So
doing his thing. His kids are pretty impressive and talented too. I mean, they haven't been in a
yeah.
huge movie or anything yet, but his son Christopher is he has the potential for sure.
Oh, that's
Definitely.
cool.
They've trained with him since they were babies, right? So I would assume.
Yeah.
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 Drive you aside from the yeah, creative hobbies. Yeah. Yeah, that's really what makes and maybe that's the thing. That is the key to a good vlog. But
Yeah.
I kind of think my life is boring. People might not think my life is boring though. I guess that's the trick is getting out of my own head. What would
It's
other
boring
people
to
like to
you,
see?
but it's not boring to other people. And actually I was watching a video about vlogging and like there are a couple like very popular vloggers and stuff that I follow and they were making videos about like well like you know how not to get held back when you vlog and
Hmm.
and how to what makes a good vlog, right? And they were talking about people thinking that the number one reason that people don't go out and film or make a video or maybe they're sitting on footage that they haven't put out is they think that their lives are boring. And what you have to remember is they were saying they get comments of like, oh, it was so cool to see you go to the park or to that place or to that library or to that whatever because I'm stuck in this town in the middle of whatever. And to them, it's like traveling kind of vicariously through you. So it's a boring whatever to you, but to other people, they get to see things and experience things. I follow one booktuber, Ellie, over at Bibbidi Bobbidi Books, and she's adorable and lovely, and she's in the UK, and she has amazing vlogs. And it's places that you would never see in England, right?
Hmm.
Like it's just beautiful, like gardens and things and whatever, architecture and stuff that you just wouldn't see. And to her, it's probably kind of like, I was at this market or whatever. But for us, it's like, whoa, like that's pretty cool. So
Hmm.
it's all relative. It's all relative. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. So I noticed when I was pulling your links to put in the description below that you have a TikTok. Have you done? Have you
I've
really got
done
on the
like
TikTok
one.
thing?
I done like one video because I was vibing after Kingdoms of Death, which is a Christopher Rocchio Sun Eater book, and I was like left on my ass about that book. I couldn't believe it. So I just filmed a quick little reaction, kind of like music video. But yeah, I haven't filmed a whole lot, and I think I will. But it's just kind of there, you know.
Hmm.
And what I think I'll do is I'll probably pull little snippets from different videos or maybe make an Instagram story that I can put on TikTok. So TikTok's kind of just sitting there for a bit. Book Talk, as they call it, has blown up and it's huge, like it's huge. And
Yeah.
stories are starting to get there with YouTube and stuff too, but the Book Talk stuff is nuts. So I think getting into that is probably a good idea. I'm never going to sub chase. I'm never going to like my goal isn't to grow this channel to become a huge thing. Like I like my job. I'm paid well. Like I just do this to like engage with people.
Yeah.
But it would be cool, I think. And sometimes I just want to put a creative musical like spin on something, and that's what my TikTok will be eventually.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't really know where Twitter fits in, but I have one now, so it's cool
Yeah.
just to. I see a lot of activity on there, which is cool because Instagram is cool, but it's a little bit more curated and less discussion-y. It's really just scroll, like whatever. But with tweeting on Twitter, like there's a lot more discussion and a lot more chiming in on stuff from a lot of people. So it's actually been pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
surprised I haven't been on Twitter this whole time, personally or otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's too much, Chaz. There's too much.
There is too much. Yeah. It's like, yeah, mind-boggling. I often talking with my daughter, and I'll be like, I'm getting too old. I'm getting
I
too
I
old
don't
for this crap.
I don't know how people do it. I'd
Yeah.
like to think that I mean, I'm older than I feel for sure. But
Hmm.
I'm at an age now where I'm at 1 foot in, 1 foot out of this generation of like full social media, full internet, and
Yeah.
being kind of the old guy screaming at the sky, being like, this is stupid. So I'm kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I get it. But for me, sometimes it's overwhelming, and for me, it's an exercise in trying to like, because it's important. It's important to know how to social media. Okay,
Oh yeah,
it is.
definitely.
So for me, it's an exercise in like, how does this work, and how could this benefit a business, or how could this help engage a community, or whatever. And just kind of, for me, it's just an experiment. It's just interesting to be part of it. I'm never going
Yeah.
to try and use and abuse it for any reason. But if one had to use that for a business or for whatever, I can see it getting quite overwhelming and hard to, because you spread yourself so thin.
Yeah.
And you also want to get away from posting maybe the identical thing on multiple platforms. Like I don't want to put the same video out on Instagram, on Twitter, on this, on that. Like I kind of want to curate stuff meant for that platform a little bit more. And some people do it very well. I can't. Like Andrew's amazing. I mean, his shorts are hilarious. His YouTube videos are great. His
Oh
Instagram
yeah.
is pretty well done. He tweets all over the damn place. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to play. Like I don't really know, but I'll get better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got my foot resting in the water, and everybody else is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think YouTube's going to be kind of my home base. And I think for book
Me
related
too.
stuff, a lot of us are kind of old school that way. Like I
Yeah.
said, book talk has its place. It's really funny because I started with an Instagram account for books because I was like, oh, I really like having Instagram for my photography. I have a
Yeah.
personal one. I made one. My cat has one because why not? So I started one for books, and then I eventually I changed the name to Rekindle Reader. But
Yeah.
being like knowing how to do photography to a certain point and enjoying the editing, I don't really post edited, beautiful, book photos. I really just post photos from my phone as
Yeah.
whenever I want. So there are some Bookstagram accounts that are gorgeous, and the
Oh,
aesthetic
I
is just
know
like,
it.
and I get jealous because I'm like, I can take photos like that, but like I just don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can't as well as they do. I mean, they have different aesthetics than that I could never nail. But in terms of the quality of photo and the editing and stuff, like I could do better, but I just don't. And so I'm very impressed with a lot of people that take the time to do Instagram the way it was meant to be done, and
Right.
YouTube the way that it benefits, right? So some people are excellent at that. I can't as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I haven't been good at that either. My Bookstagram started out with like I was take some pictures of books and different things, and then it's turned into just posting my thumbnails now, and I feel
yeah,
bad.
because
Yeah.
driving people to your main thing, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that, right? For
Yeah.
sure. So yeah,
Comments on TikTok were so consistently ugly that she stopped. Oh yeah, I've heard that about TikTok for sure. It can get pretty ugly.
because is that because it gets so widespread to this crazy wide audience that it just brings in comments from anywhere, or like I wonder,
Probably.
you know what I mean? Because it can't
Yeah.
be that people behind the TikTok logo are meaner than people sitting behind a YouTube comment. You know what I mean? Like they're the same
Yeah.
people, but I wonder if TikToks get blown out to a wider audience where you see a lot more that you might not on a more niche YouTube community. I wonder, but
Yeah. It could be that TikTok is maybe it's harder to filter comments on
maybe,
TikTok and stuff.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but yeah, YouTube is my primary, and Goodreads is good as well. So
yeah,
yeah.
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 So do you see yourself sticking around on YouTube for as long as it's fun for you? Like, are you enjoying it? Like, is
Oh
this,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I plan to be here for the long haul as long as I keep enjoying it, and
cool.
You know, if at some point I get to where I don't enjoy it, I'll probably stop. But I don't
Yeah,
foresee that happening
yeah,
because,
yeah. There's too much going
um,
on, too many good people, I think, to
yeah,
all
too
of a
many good
sudden not.
people.
Yeah,
I've considered starting a second YouTube channel to do movie stuff, movie and TV stuff.
yeah, you're very well versed in all that stuff. Yeah, there's a lot. I think there's a lot there that you're itching to talk about that you don't have maybe the right platform to, or you feel like, oh, I shouldn't stray off the books too much. But yeah,
Yeah,
that would be great to see. Yeah, I don't watch and that's why I started doing a mid-month update. I started doing that because I love the weekly updates that people do. I don't
yeah,
have enough to talk about on a weekly basis because otherwise I'll be like, I'm reading this book and then I'm still reading this book and then I'm obviously still reading this book. So for me, it
yeah.
hasn't been great that way, but I do the mid month and that way it's one opportunity out of many, I guess, where I can talk about books, movies and video games and TV and maybe what I
Mhm.
did or what I bought or whatever, right? And that's my
Right.
one area. So until I start getting more into that other media and stuff, that's probably my like Mike has now Mike's media reviews, I think, which is good
Hmm.
because he likes to talk. He knows so much about so many different things, right? That he just
Hmm.
needed that other outlet, and I can see that for you too. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited about it. I've done a few joint book and movie
Hmm.
reviews. So like if I watch the movie after reading the book, I'll review them
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
But I try not to do too much movie stuff on my book channel. Yeah. So
yeah.
it's yeah, I even have a name. I called the channel Chaz Watched It. So
Nice. I love it.
yeah,
That's awesome.
so we'll
Yeah.
we'll see if I do anything with it.
Yeah. The other thing too is we only have so much time, right? And I have other
Yeah.
hobbies. I have a wife and stuff. I have a full-time job and like, family to see and stuff. So I feel like I could never quite watch or play enough to
Hmm.
warrant talking about. So that's why I have that one opportunity to say, look, I played a couple hours of this game last week. It was awesome. Here's what I thought. Here's some snippets, whatever. But to have a full channel about that, I would feel like I'd be detracting from reading, which is what I'm trying to do the most of,
Yeah.
to go play 6 hours of this game just so I have something to talk about, right? I don't want to spread myself that thin.
Yeah.
So, plus down the road, if me and my wife have kids, I'm going to be even more tied up, and so
Oh yeah, you
books
will be.
books are going to be kind of the one thing that I can stick with. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm very lucky that my kids are older, and
yeah,
I didn't start my booktube channel until my
you're
kids
more
were,
free right now.
yeah, old
Yeah,
enough to manage themselves. And but
yeah.
yeah, having kids definitely changes it.
Yeah, well, my wife and I are at that point now where, she's just wrapping up quite an extensive course to do her veterinary technician certification and stuff. And
Hmm.
like we're at a point now where we're like, well, if we try, we'll probably start trying, I think, next year,
Hmm.
probably. And we're at that age now and like everything's kind of sorted. We're married, we
Hmm.
own a place, we're settled in our careers and stuff. Now's the time, and I think we're itching probably to take that next step. But
That's
I'm
cool.
thinking, I'm like, well, this is kind of the second room, and this is my office and my book room and stuff. Like, where am I gonna film? Like, we gotta think about all those things. I'll be doing booktube videos in the bathroom probably. So,
Right.
what do you do? So, there's that
That's so true.
consideration too. Yeah, yeah. I got like one book in the background. Like, this is my studio now. Like, so yeah, I'll do an unhaul video where I unhaul everything I own because we're having a baby.
Right? You'll have everything on your Kindle at that, or
I'm
your
gonna, you know
Kobo.
what? Saying this out loud is a funny idea. I think I'm gonna do one video as a surprise. I'm not gonna talk about my wife being pregnant when that happens, if it happens, if we're lucky enough to do that. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna have one video where it's a baby haul. I'm just gonna bring the
Ooh,
baby in, and that's it. Just a
I
baby haul
like
video.
that. That's
Very
cool.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, life, adulting, very, very
Absolutely.
more difficult than I think I was prepared for. There's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
I keep telling my, well, and now my son has experienced it because he's off at college and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I keep
Yeah.
telling my daughter too. I'm like, yeah, just you're gonna be surprised at adulting.
Enjoy this as long as you can. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Because all you want to do when you're 13 is yeah, have fun, be a kid, but you just want to be grown up. You just want to be part of that. Do what you want, be an adult. It's a trap.
Exactly.
It's a trap.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. What's a huge trip for me is see you later. Yeah,
See you later,
is
Tom.
watching move like videos or I should say TV shows that you watched as a kid and now you're older than they are in the show. Like I
Right.
remember the moment I was older than like the Saved by the Bell cast. I'm older
Yeah.
than the dads on Full House. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy to me. It's crazy that I'm like this adult now and you're watching these parents or these adults on these shows and all of a sudden you're older than like the dad on this sitcom. It's like, what?
Right.
When did that happen? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
That's
It's also a trip with like uh like I met Brandon Sanderson and stuff like that. And
amazing. Wow.
I'm older than Brandon Sanderson.
It's probably crazy. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah, it puts it in perspective a little bit, right? Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's weird. You're not older than Tolkien though. I mean,
no,
he's
I'm
got
not
you
older
beat.
than Tolkien. I've got that going
You're
for
still
me.
alive, which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, cabinet style bottoms
Bookshelves
are
with the
key.
cat. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. If you can keep
Save
them out
save
of
a
that
few
room,
actors.
that works. But they're probably just going to run around and I got some collectibles and stuff and some figures and stuff that they're probably just going to rip off the wall and play with anyway. So, you know,
True.
what can you do? Can you
Yeah.
return babies if they don't work out? Is that where you're from? I don't know
Yeah,
how
but
it is in
not
Canada,
quite
but
sure it works that way.
no, I think that's severely frowned upon probably. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, that babies definitely need an instruction book. They need to come with an instruction book right out of the
To-
womb.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to go. But I'm curious,
Yeah.
have you done videos with your kids? I think have I seen your daughter on a video? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done
Yeah.
3 videos with my daughter.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's she's a big reader as well.
Right.
Not as much as she used to be, and um, but and my son likes to read too, but he doesn't like being on camera. My daughter loves being on camera,
So
so
that's what I was going to say is it'd be fun if I had a kid or you know to kind of do a little joint whatever or like or show them off or do a little vlog or whatever and if I'm still doing this if I'm not super dad mode and I got no time to do anything.
yeah,
But I wonder to what extent that's okay to show your kids on TV or on the internet or you know I probably wouldn't or I would do it in kind of a way where like maybe their faces aren't shown as much or whatever but then your kids probably grow up and they probably want to be part of it right so like then what do
yeah,
you do so it's very interesting yeah it'd be cool to do something with a kid for sure yeah I can't wait
yeah.
to be a dad to be honest we're gonna try we'll see
Oh, you're gonna be an awesome dad,
can't wait
Theo,
I had a very
and
good one I was very lucky to have an excellent both parents actually so I can't wait and I'm an only child and so all I wanted was a bigger family right
oh yeah, I was
so
an only
yeah
child too.
oh
Yeah,
really that's why we're so perfect
yeah,
it
yeah,
turned out great yeah it's good
yeah, exactly.
yeah what
Yeah,
could
we
possibly go wrong yeah
what could possibly go wrong? And trying is the fun part, right? So,
we're practicing yeah right
right?
so we'll see but no we're at that point now where yeah I mean that's going to be probably a discussion soon so
Yeah, that's
yeah
cool. Good for you, man.
yeah
That's awesome.
thanks man
Nothing has saved kids.
I love it
That's
Nikki's the
great.
best yeah kids are
That's so
keybinds yeah
true. And yeah, love it.
yeah yeah I hear both sides of it I hear oh my god like there's nothing better but like oh yeah and then this happens
Right?
like
Yeah,
oh
right.
okay cool so yeah yeah
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when my daughter was young, she was probably about a year old at the time. My son bit her. I'm like, "What?
what do
What are you
you
doing?"
you can't prepare for that right
Yeah, right.
so what do you do? Because like my Greek mother would probably just bite me so that I know what it feels like, right? So that you just don't like what do you do as a parent? Because they don't understand, hey, like don't bite your sister. Like
Right,
biting
exactly.
bad, right? They don't get
Yeah,
that. So what do you
right.
do as a parent?
I don't remember what we did honestly, but yeah, it was not a good moment for sure.
No. And I think you know me well enough by now to know that I like to laugh here and there. I like to crack
Oh
a
yeah.
joke. And so for me, I'm going to be caught in the middle of like, okay, I need to discipline these children. I
Right.
have to teach them something in this moment. I also need to document it because this is funny as shit. Like I'll,
Right.
like I
Right.
need to document the funny part of this, but I also need to make sure that they know that that was wrong. So like I
Yeah.
don't know how I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You pick up the camera, turn on your son. It's like, so did she taste good? No.
yeah, right. Like I swear I'm going to be, and I bet my wife is going to be like, you cannot do this. Like you need, I'm
Right.
going to end up making her the disciplinarian, and that's not what she wants. So
Right.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Pray for me when that time comes, though. I
Oh
can't
yeah.
wait, but like, man, yeah. In the midst of watching Kyle. So where is Kyle, Kevin? What's Kyle on right now? Is he on another stream or what is he on? So Kevin's awesome. How's it going, man?
Yeah. Kevin is awesome. I really enjoy his stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Well, we're at the 2 hour mark, so I
Cool.
think we're gonna go ahead and end it here. I would love to
Sounds
continue
good.
talking for
I had a
longer,
blast,
though.
Chaz. Thank you. Anytime. In fact, I might have you on my end of the lens too at some point.
Oh,
So
that would be awesome. I would
cool.
love to, Theo,
Yeah.
and at some point I want to kind of revisit and have 2 or 3 people on at a time that I've had on in the past, and kind of just do a
Absolutely. And you and I are
yeah.
going to do some buddy reads and stuff. I can't wait to talk to you
Mhm.
more about stuff. And we can even do a live stream chat discussion about some books that we're going to read together. So I'm excited. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
you're welcome, man. And yeah, we should have talked to we should have talked about Frankenstein, but
Yeah, we buddy read Frankenstein. We'll save that one. We'll do another buddy read and we'll kind of go through because I think you and I chatted a little bit, but maybe not on live. So yeah,
yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be fun.
excited.
Well, yeah, thanks so much, Theo, and
Thank you.
everybody. If you're not subscribed, I think most of you are, but if you're not subscribed to Theo, definitely check him out.
Thank you
If you're
guys.
watching
Yeah.
this on the rewatch, yeah, please check out Theo's
Yeah.
channel.
Thanks for joining us, by the way, guys. That was really fun. Thanks for the
Yeah,
comments.
this was a lot of fun. Appreciate everybody who joined, and cool, Kevin. That works too. Catch it on the rewatch, and everybody make sure to be reading more books. We'll talk to you later. Bye.